Hi, hi.
No. Okay, hopefully this works and hopefully my mic is not like too bombarding because obviously I don't have my headphones in. Like, just let me know if this is okay.
Mm-hmm. You sound fine. You sound fine. I'm not really getting any over, echo or things like that. So you're fine,
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's all good then. That's all good.
I think. Well.
We're all good.
Okay, there is a slight echo. There's a slight echo now, but that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
It's very
Sure.
light.
It's up to you. It's up to you. If you want me to put my headphones in, I can. So, um,
It'll be fine,
it's
Radish.
up
It'll
to
be
you.
fine. No, it'll
Okay,
be
no
fine.
worries. Yeah, all
Alright,
good.
alright. Hi, it is Forbidden, and we're doing another reality user interview. Today I have Radish Bear. Radish, everybody, Radish Bear. Alright, so Radish Bear, who are you?
Well, I am, as my name suggests, I am RadishBear. I'm a sing streamer from Australia, and most of my streams mostly specialize on singing pretty much, and like that's pretty much all I do pretty much on my streams, apart from occasional times where I may want to try and possibly step out of my comfort zone and do like other sort of stuff like including avatar ratings and like at one stage I did a talent show at like oh that must have been a long time ago, but I have done it before.
Mm-hmm.
And also but most of my time I just divide between singing and talking with my viewers, as well as possibly also like breaking into like occasional voice acting here and there. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are aware of my alter ego in like with what he calls himself, the big little teddy bear. So like that's obviously like another prominent character of my streams. And now obviously the opinion on that is like kind of quite polarized and divided. So there's some like because I pretty much discovered that in terms of the big little teddy bear, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it, and like
Mm-hmm.
there's no like gray area in between, and like but it's a matter of like I enjoy like doing what I do on my streams pretty much, and that's what you know makes me who I am pretty much, because it allows myself to expose my own sort of personality, and no matter how ridiculous, over the top, and silly it is, like because that's just who I am. I'm a very silly
Mm-hmm.
guy, and I just project that through my character.
No, I love the big little teddy bear. Um, can we get a sample? Can we get a sample for the audience?
If only if it will be much more it will be much more like funny if the teddy bear was here, like during this interview. But
Oh, let
I
me
guess I could
just.
summon him
Oh, I
like
can't. I can't just summon him. I can't just. I don't.
yeah, it's okay.
I have
I
many
can summon him through
backgrounds.
my alter. Yeah, it's all good though. I can summon him through I think Override's voice now, so yes, miss me who the big wheel keyboard is and sounds like, because you might know that you might be able to find me in any one of Radish's streams or wherever Radish is present, and I'll go up as well, so I do hope that, you get to enjoy time spending with Radish as much as you get to spend as much time spending with me. But you know what, Phoebe? Now that I'm being summoned here, I was wondering if I could take over the interview.
I'm sorry. No. I am here for Radish Bear, big little teddy bear. I am here to interview
Oh,
him, not just you. Oi,
okay.
trying to steal the
I'm just gonna,
show.
I'm just gonna go away now.
Yeah. We love you.
All right,
We
I'm back.
really
I'm
do.
back.
um.
Well,
So
again, as I mentioned, either you hate it or you love
yeah,
it.
and you forgot to mention. So Radish, everybody, also owns a sticker on the international United States server. Do you wanna tell them about that or should I?
So the power of voice sticker. So obviously that is my create well yeah my sticker concept that I came up with, and it was obviously drawn by one of my old friends called Marshall, although I don't think she uses the app anymore. But
Mm,
pretty much the concept behind the concept behind power of voice is pretty much like, it's a pun of like, because, obviously since most of my content is through singing and like projecting my own voice and like, showing my own voice vocal power pretty much.
mm,
But the idea that I got from for my stickers to basically give everyone a voice pretty much. So like for example, because like my main aim is to like make sure that everyone feels like, well, everyone that wants to like, vibe in my streams pretty much.
mm, mm,
It's it's to like pretty much to give them a voice of their own and make sure that they're heard too. So what I do is that like I created the sticker to like, to give everyone a power of voice. So therefore like, when they spam the sticker and they
mm,
gift it, it's basically like their way of saying, oh, I support this, and like I'm showing through my own voice that, I support this streamer. And it's not just like, my stream too, like, it can happen in anyone's stream.
mm,
Or
mm,
anyone like, they have the ability to project their own like voice and support for other people. And and that's pretty much like the whole point of the power of voice sticker, and that's what like I believe, like, its meaning behind it, because it gives everyone a voice of their own, and shows that they deserve to be heard.
I love that. I love, well, one, the sticker is absolutely adorable, but no, I love the meaning behind the stickers. And during these interviews, I have been interviewing many users who do have one, like they have won the sticker event. And so hearing about the thought that everybody has about their stickers is really like eye-opening. Because if you don't know the streamer, you only see the image and the name of the sticker. And so it's just so interesting to see all of the backstory and all of the thought that went into creating this object. So really kudos, kudos, kudos. I love it. Um, and you already talked about how you use reality and how you do a lot of like singing content. So I'm going to ask you, do you have a stream setup? Because reality is made so you really don't need a stream setup, but I know some users do. Like I know I use a phone stand, I do have an extra light. I sometimes use a better mic. Um, so do you have anything that would do that?
I do. I've got like a very, very complicated setup. So the centerpiece of my equipment that I use during my streams is what's known as the Yamaha AG03, and it's pretty much an audio mixer. So it allows me to like play, because like what I need to do is that I need to hook up my AG03 to my MacBook, which plays the background music, and then I
Mm,
also hook it up to my microphone and my phone. So like it's got three ports pretty much that it needs to be linked to in order for it to fully work. And so like the reason why like it sounds so crisp is because like I can play the music directly onto my stream from my MacBook, as long as it's linked up to the AGO3, and also because I'm using a very powerful condenser mic. And for those wondering, my
mm,
mic is the Shure SM7B, and it's like a very high definition condenser microphone that is like used by other like streamers and like content creators, not just on reality, but also, on YouTube as well. And like it was like the mic that I'm using was recommended to by one of my friends, so that's why I'm like using this like very mic setup. Um, Before that, like I do remember that, but I will say this, like, it's not like, the biggest deal to have,
Mm-hmm.
because for most of my career on reality before 2023, I wasn't using anything. So like I remember like the steps I took to to improve my equipment. So when I first started off in reality, I was only using like my phone, microphone, and my MacBook, and playing the audio from my MacBook speakers, which is obviously not nearly as good. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then I think a few months, yeah, and then a few months into that, I got a minor upgrade and I started using a speaker. So It's called the Boom 3 speaker, and I started playing music out of that. So like there was obviously a bit of an improvement, but it's still like the balance is still like a bit
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
off, as you can say. But then after my holiday in 2022 when I went to Malaysia, I bought a sound card, which was like it's like a basic version of the audio mixer that I have, and pretty much it's called the V8 sound card. It's not nowhere near as good as this one, but it did like provide some like a cover, because
Mm-hmm.
like what I did is that like all I had to do was hook up my phone to my Mac. What I've hooked up my phone to my MacBook, my phone, and also like the headphone speakers that I put in, because like my headphones that I use has got a microphone on it, and because it's like a low quality microphone, like the sound quality may not be as crisp as before. So I used that setup for like a few months, but before, I think it was in April of this year, it was just shortly after my birthday, I got the AGO3, and I took it took me quite a fair bit to get it to work and everything, but it's working now, and that's pretty much the standard that I use, and like it's the main standard that everyone in Japan uses as well, because like I don't know if people know this, but I've got like a lot of friends in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
because when I first started using reality, I started on the Japan server, because my main aim of using this app
Oh.
initially was to literally just learn Japanese, was to practice my Japanese speaking.
What? What? Really? That was
Because,
the
well,
real
okay,
reason.
well, okay, let me let you guys know. So, I saw this app through an ad on Twitter, and I did not realize it was a streaming app at all. I just saw it was an anime app, and I was like thinking, oh, I want to make an anime, version of myself. So like that's why, like literally, you take a look at my male avatar. Like I can't change it now, but like I'm in my female avatar still. But you take a look at my male avatar. It's literally me, because when I first made it, I literally like had all like I didn't have any of like the stuff that I've got now, but like I literally made it to like resemble me as closely as possible. So like I made sure the hair was the same, the eyebrows are the same, eye shape, color, and like the usual clothing that I wear. Like it was basically me in anime form, and that's pretty much why I was like oh I thought it was gonna be great, and I didn't know what username to use as well, because like I thought it was like gonna be one of those cases where I was gonna come up with like some random username of sorts, because I was thinking of like possibly using like something that referred to like part of my real name, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's before like I realized what the impact of this sort of like environment is, and I did not
Mm-hmm.
know anything about it. So that's when like I started thinking about, oh, what username do I want to use, and the truth is, RadishBear is a name that I came up with like 11 years or 12 years ago now, because it's the
Really?
old username I used to. Yeah, it's the old username I used to use for when I used to play. It's not League of Legends. It's a game called Heroes of New Earth, and it was like a derivative of League of Legends that I used to play like a long, long time ago. I played it during like my high school years, and like I literally stole Radish Bear from Radio Bear, because I did not know any I did not have any creativity. Like that's how Radish Bear came to life, because I thought Radio Bear was such a cool name back then, but like I knew I
Mm-hmm.
could not copy my friends my brother's friend who used also played Heroes of Newer, so I just changed it up to Radish Bear.
And you've
Well,
been
I mean
Radish Bear
you're looking.
since.
Yeah, well, look, no, the funny thing is that I stopped playing Heroes New with I think it was like 2018 once I entered the university. So the username wasn't really being used that much anymore. So it's like when I first started off this app and I got the opportunity to like design a username, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll just use like like the old username I have not used in like 3 years, and like because I did not realize it was gonna like become such a significant name because I like
That you're
I'm
stuck
just
with it. That you're gonna be stuck with it for the rest.
I'm stuck with it now. Yeah, I can't change
No
it,
rebranding.
and
No
not
rebranding in
only
your future.
yeah, no rebranding for me, and not just that as well, but pretty much like um when I like saw some Japanese streams,
Mhm.
I'm like thinking, oh, this must be a Japanese app. I've got the opportunity to practice my Japanese because at that time when I downloaded Reality, I had already graduated from university for like I think it was like how many months had it been? It had been like 3 to 4 months since I graduated, and I had not been able to practice my Japanese at all because like since all my classes were all done and I was already graduated, I didn't know what else to do. So I realized that when I was like like visiting some Japanese streams and like getting to know people
Mhm.
and practicing my Japanese, I realized that was going to be my only outlet and my only way for me to like maintain my Japanese ability. So that's pretty much why I started like becoming really like involved in Reality so that I can start to you know practice my Japanese with my Japanese friends as well. So that's pretty much how it started off for the first few months. Um, I developed like like a bond with one of my Japanese with my first ever Japanese like person, who was the first ever person that I followed, and the person that I idolize because like I know that a lot of people like
What?
look up to me. What? I've got people I idolize too. Like
Oh, do we get a name? Do we get a name? Hmm? Hmm? Do we do we get a
her
name?
name is her name is her name is Yuki.
Okay. Okay. Putting this down in
Yuki
my.
Amakawa.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and her signature fan mark is an onigiri and a croissant, and she's pretty much like an archangel or an angel of music, pretty much, and like she's my inspiration as to why I started doing my own singing streams because like I heard her sing on her streams because I first got to know her through the Japanese Rookie Grand Prix, which she won, and it like it brought me like it brought me like to connect with her really much because like the first time around I visited her stream was on the 4th of October 2021.
Okay.
That was when I first met her, and that will happen to be the final day of the Japanese Rookie Grand Prix, and we know how big events are in Japan and how competitive they are. So she happened to get first place, and she was like literally crying and everything, and she was crying and singing as well. So like, I was like, first off, my first reaction was, why is this girl crying? I'm like, and then, but when I heard her voice, I'm like thinking, I might want to visit her again, possibly. So it got to the point where you know I returned to her streams after after the Rookie Grand Prix finish, and like she was just doing like a normal sing/chat stream, and she initially like didn't realize I could speak Japanese, so like I started like speaking Japanese to her
Mm-hmm.
and telling her how much she meant to me, and then she like then that's when we started really like connecting, and then I started connecting with all of her friends as well, because that's why like all of like um that's why I've got a lot of Japanese friends, because all of them are like friends of Yuki, and Yuki's friends now all know me as well, and that's pretty much how I branched out and got to know all of Yuki's friends, like all of her Japanese friends, and that's how like my career on Reality like started. Like it started on the Japanese server pretty much.
Mm-hmm. All right. No, just I really appreciate that. I really no that gives me so much like backstory about Radish. And it does answer like a lot of the questions that I did have. Um, So why did you leave the Japanese surfer?
Because when I started off when I first started off, like, streaming, I was not like, like getting like a big audience. Like my audience was relatively light.
Mm.
Um, because like in the Japanese server, they're a lot more selective as to who they go to, pretty much. So like I found that like I wasn't really like getting like a lot of like recognition. So that's why like
Ah.
like I was like thinking like like what's the point of me staying on here and streaming on this server? Um, because like don't get me wrong, I still like am able to like street to remain on the server like as a viewer.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured like not as a streamer though. Like as a viewer, yeah, sure, I can like stay on there and like continue to stream and well continue to like view people. But the funny thing is though, I was actually on the Australia server when I very first started off because obviously I'm in Australia. Um, and the funny thing is that when you're on any other server apart from the United States or the Japan server, it automatically like you're on your recommended page. It gives you like the ability to view streams not just from the Australia server but also from all over the place. So like
Oh.
it will recommend you streams from the US server, the Indonesia server, which is how I met a few Indonesian friends. Also, like, from, Singapore, Philippines as well, like, Australia, like all those sort of like sorts of like areas. So like that's pretty much like how I think I ran into my first ever English speaking streamer that I connected with, and her name
Mm-hmm.
is Creepy Little Toby. I don't know if you guys
Oh,
know her, but Creepy Little
Toby!
Toby is the
Yes,
first.
I love
Yeah,
her. I love Toby.
she's the first ever English streamer that I ever connected with, and because like she's a talk streamer, and like she and I like like bonded with one another initially, and she was actually the person who inspired me to stream, and like she asked me like oh like because I collabed with her once because like she was like doing like a very unique thing where she she was like like doing like a collab with new people, and like I was like really nervous, I was shy. I remember like I was with a few other friends too, well a few of other friends, and I was like trying to like connect and bond with them, and like she told me pretty much, oh, you've got like a very like nice personality, like you really like talking with people and everything, like why don't you make a stream of your own? And I'm like, really? Do you want me to stream? Because like I've never like thought of like streaming before because I didn't like think about anything about streaming before I started on reality.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had a few of her friends on her stream who said, if you stream, I'll go. And I'm like, okay, I'll make a stream then. Like
That's
we'll see
so
what happens.
that's
Like
so nice. That's such good support though, that like they were like, "No,
yeah,
you should try it and we'll come." Like,
yeah,
"Oh, oh, I love that's the wrong. That's what I want." Claps. Yes. Like,
yeah. So I started streaming. I think I streamed for like from October to like December, so 2 months on the Japan/Australia server.
mm-hmm.
But obviously, since those servers are quite light on traffic, and I don't know if people know this, but I was going through like a bit of like a rough patch, um, between 2020 and 2022. So like, because obviously this was after the end of both my university and also while we were also still in lockdown as well
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
So like I wasn't able to like leave my home or anything. I was isolated from all my friends. I lost all my old friend connections, and I was like really depressed. I was like losing self confidence in my own voice because like I had not sung in a long time and like it was really rusty, and like it got to the point where I think I was thinking about switching over to the US server at one stage because I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
like try and put myself out there, but it was also because one of my friends decided to give me a kick up my ass and like mentioned to myself, hey, you've got like a few things that you may need to work on if you want to like become more likable. And believe it or not, it was
Oh.
Toby that did that. it was Toby that did that to me, because after like a few um a few like different moments of differences, and in the way that I was acting initially,
Mm-hmm.
she blocked me, and
Oh.
it was like that was probably like the most defining moment of like where my roads went on this app,
Mm-hmm.
because her blocking me, she didn't tell me initially why she did, but like I asked one of her friends,
Mm-hmm.
and one of her friends explained to me is because of like there's a lot of things that I do need to like that's it leaves a lot to be desired pretty much regarding my personality, and I had to like like evolve and change that. So I guess the biggest takeaway from that one was that I had to become a lot more confident, a lot more robust, and just focus on what I do, what I do best, rather than like what I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Toby's friend mentioned to me the best way that you're going to be able to like get through this is like you got to like, rather than focus on what you're not doing right, focus on what you're doing right, and that only, and like let those shine. And I knew back then that my main strength, or the only strength I had at that time,
Mm-hmm.
is singing. And as long as you like just keep singing and wanting to give people a safe space to be, then that's who I am. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
who I am as an individual. I'm not anyone else. I'm not like like a person that's like who's going to be depressed all the time. I'm a guy that's like got to make things positive for everyone else. I got to make it like safe, happy environment for everyone else. So that so Toby blocking me coincided with my switch to the US server, and also a bit of a slight change to my avatar as well, because I don't know if you know this, but when I first started off in reality, I had short hair.
Mm-hmm.
My avatar was designed with short hair, but after Toby blocked me, I lengthened my hair, and
Oh.
I see that lengthening of my hair as like the symbol of my growth, pretty much, because like it's common now on all of my avatars, like like you notice like how I've got like my long hair and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but like I symbolize the long hair on my avatar as like my symbol of growth and evolution, because it's leaving my old self behind and not being too negative on myself anymore, and becoming a lot more like confident and much more willing to reach out to other people and show them who I am as an individual, as a streamer. And pretty much after that, after like December 8th, that's where everything just started exploding. Like I think I was like on like 700 followers for like 2 months, and
Oh.
not really
Okay.
like making much growth.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then after like December 8th, I started growing like really, really quickly. Like every single stream all of a sudden was like was like exploding. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why do I have so many people coming in all of a sudden? Like, and have a lot of people as well who are telling me your voice is really good and everything, and like like I'll keep coming back to your streams if you keep singing. And I'm like, maybe maybe I'm not as bad as I think after all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's important for me to like continue to like be that sort of person for other people. And that's pretty much like, and since I started streaming, and since I changed to the US server, like that's how I started like finding new people from all over the place, and like finding all like the American streamers as well, like and a lot of people have credited me to like linking them to other people too. So like, for example, I think I take one of like my biggest like accomplishments in finding Green Tea, for example. I bonded her with like with because Nana and Green Tea are both from Hong Kong. They didn't know each other until like I met them,
Oh,
and I was like, oh,
really?
you've got to connect with each other, because like like I was like when I first met Nana, I think it was like on in early January of 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and because I had already connected with Green Tea for the past like month or so. And and like Green Tea like at that time was like, because Toby still had me blocked, Green Tea was my closest friend that I had, who I could speak like, like very very effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, as soon as I met Nana and I realized she was from Hong Kong, I'm like, you gotta meet this person. Like I'm gonna like drag you to my stream so that you can like like meet her. And that's pretty much how they bonded. And like now they've met IRL as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think another very prominent thing as well is that like I realized over my time while I was exploding, I started to develop like a bit of like a circle of like people that like know each other very well. So like, and it's a matter of like anyone who's prominent that comes into that circle is immediately recognized. So I take like Nat. You remember Natalie, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Natalie was in a very tough time when she and I first met, and I was also going through a very difficult time too. And what happened was that she wasn't known by anyone back then, and when she came to my stream and we like like sympathized with one another, and then somehow she immediately became my biggest ever fangirl that I've had to this date. And she became so well known on my streams. Like she's become like like a pinnacle of like who of as part of who I am pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And she's now like well known by other people too. Like I don't wanna say solely because of like my influence, but I do, but I will admit that I think I did have a big part in like in helping her like get her back onto her feet, and like also reigniting her interest on the app, because like she started meeting all these new people as well. So like all these people who like I think like like most people who like they say, oh, I saw you on Radish's stream, I came to visit you and everything, and then like then everyone else starts coming in, and Natalie became more popular than me at some stage, and I was like, and then she was like, oh my god, yeah, like I'm really enjoying my time on here now. And like those are just two of like multiple examples of like what I mean is that like when I find, friends,
Yeah.
people I want to talk with, and then like I find like, and then like I'm like immediately like I want to show you to like, this person here, and like I want
Mm-hmm.
to like, get you connected with them. And I remember when Forby and I first met while I was on my holiday in Singapore, all the
Oh
way back
yeah.
in all the way back in July of 2022. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember clear as day that she was not really like, she was this close, to leaving this app behind. But
Yeah.
can you explain to the audience as to
Yeah.
why
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
like I was the one of the
So
reasons as to why I kept you on?
yeah, no, so I do put a lot on Radish for he is one of my favorite streamers on reality. Um and he is one of the reasons why I stayed, because I had just gotten the app. Like I had, so to explain my story, I downloaded the app years ago. And then because I was looking at it for a research purpose of VTuber model for a friend, that because we were doing face streaming together and they didn't feel comfortable doing their face, and so I ended up in the rabbit hole and it led to reality. And we decided not to go with the reality model. It didn't have the aesthetic that we were looking for, and so we then hired an artist instead. So fast forward then to last July, of 2022, and I see an ad, and next thing I know, I'm going to download reality, um, and it's like, oh, you already have an account, and so it's like asking for my information. It's not taking my information, and so I make the forbidden account. um, and so I had just started a stream. I had done a stream, and I had a very bad encounter, and so I was going to leave, and it was like midnight my time. Like I should have definitely been in bed, but I could not sleep. and I was getting ready to uninstall the app, and I ended up at Radish's stream, and he is just talking about the fact that he's on vacation and he's enjoying it, and he's just singing along, and a bunch of kids just come in and start trolling. And he played with the trolls. He played with the trolls, and he was like, and this song goes to you guys. And he just starts singing fruit salad, yummy, yummy, to the whole crowd. Like that became the stream content, was singing children's songs. And the next thing you know, he's just going down the list of kids songs. And as someone who works with children, um I know a lot of children's songs, okay? So it just got me, and so I started gifting. I was like, take my coins. This really like brightened up my day. And he's just then like, no, I'm not in an event. Like he's like, it's not an event. And I had no clue what the value of gifts were. I was like, I had bought a bunch of coins because I like pretty clothes, and I have a bunch of coins left over. And it just like really made my day, and it was making his day, and I was like, yes, have more. But yeah, no, you really made me want to stay. So again, like I am so glad that you are letting me interview you.
Yeah. I'm glad. I'm really glad.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we talked about you having the sticker.
Yeah.
I have your T-shirt. So I know you've done the T-shirt event. Is there something on the reality that you would like to try but you just haven't yet?
I've been thinking about this video for a long time recently, and I've been thinking about wanting to give one of the Japanese events a try.
Oh, okay.
I want to give
Which
it a
one?
try because the poster, because the problem with the Japanese events is that, you know, they have like a lot of like events where they they like they give you the chance to like either like, you know, perform like, you know, like all those like, you know, like Japanese like, you know, like reality worlds where like, you know, like they
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
streamers to perform on there, and like, and they've also got, you know, events where you like they can invite you into like a studio to record a song like written by one of the artists. The problem is like, you know, it's limited to people only in Japan, and because like in order like when you win, you have to like be able to go to like, you know, the
You have to go there
venues in
physically.
Japan in order to like, yeah, exactly, in order to like record and like, you know, get your body tracking and everything for like the events and everything. So I figured that similar to like the video ad events that are happening right now, for a long time in Japan, they've been doing like wallpaper events where like, you know, like they do like advertisements on billboards pretty much. So similar to the billboard events in San Francisco, that was like, I think it was like at the start of this year, or it was like last year, I think it was. Every week or every like, you know, every like month or so, they do like a wallpaper, like a billboard like events where they post, you know, like they post like a big wallpaper of, you know, reality streamers who win the event in like in like any Japanese major station pretty much.
Yep. Yeah.
So like they do
So like
those
in the
sorts of things.
Shibuya, they've done Shibuya billboards. They've done like the big train stations where they have the big posters. Those are very common events in Japan. I mean, we just had some billboards in the American Surfer for being like Shibuya, and I just keep using Shibuya, but Akibara was also on. I think it was a series of 4 billboards. It was either 4 or 5 for the international server.
Yeah, because now they're like I think the next one that they're doing is one for at Sendai Station. So
okay.
So that's why like a lot of some of my Japanese friends asked me like, you know, like told me like, you know, I asked them like, you know, would you like should I try it? And like they say like, you know, they would love to see me on the billboard because like they've known me for like, you know, so long, and like they want me to like to give it a try too, because they know I've never done. The only event that I've done on the Japanese server is the Rookie Grand Prix.
Okay.
Because that was like back in 2021, and like I remember like wanting to give myself a challenge. So like I managed to like do that. Somehow got ninth in that. So like
Nice,
it's like
nice.
proving that like like I do have an opportunity. Like I might not get first because like I know that it's like really really challenging, but I at least want to give it a try. Like that's all
Mm-hmm.
I want to do. I want to give it a try.
Okay. I wish you the best, Radish. Um,
Yeah.
so obviously you have a lot of advice to give. Um, what advice would you give someone who's just starting in streaming? And what advice do you wish you had had when you had started streaming?
Focus on what makes you you, and what and more like focus on what makes you the best you, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So you, if you feel as if you're a person that talks well, communicates with others, and connects well with others, then focus on becoming that. If you're a musician and you want to showcase your music to everyone else, focus on that. If you feel as if like you're a person that wants to facilitate, other people and supporting other people's dreams and just connecting with like like big like with like actual friends. So like I'm not gonna like put like all those like random
Mm-hmm.
collab stuff in because like those don't usually work out that well. But like those people who actually want to like connect with other people, then
Mm-hmm.
focus
Mm-hmm.
on that. Focus on what you think would be best suited for you, because it took me a while for me to like figure out that I had to focus on what I did best before I started exploding. So it's a matter of you know like keeping that principle in mind, so
Mm-hmm.
therefore you can like unlock your own true potential pretty much.
Okay, okay. I again that's really really good advice. Um, okay, we're gonna jump to a culture one. Um, do you think your personal culture affects how you stream? So personal culture could be anywhere from like where you live, your ethnicity, your generation, occupation, like everything that makes you as a person. How does that affect you as a streamer?
Well, I'm from Australia, so like of course that's going to have like like a very big impact on me, because what I've noticed is that there's like a very small proportion of Australians that use this app
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
compared to like Americans and like Japanese. And I think like that in itself is a very very big like like influence, because it makes me it makes myself unique from other people,
mm-hmm,
and like they want to like know a bit more about Australian culture, slang, like the background of it. And pretty much it's like it gives me the opportunity to showcase my own unique sort of like background as well, because like inevitably when I do stream, of course I'm going to have like my own you know accent
mm-hmm,
that's
mm-hmm.
like not like many other people. And also being able to you know like, but still have the ability to connect with others, because I know that like when I talk with a lot of my Japanese friends in particular, when I always say like I'm from Australia, they're like, like really, like like, and like they really want to know more about my culture, because they're like, oh, like
Mm-hmm.
like they like the kangaroos, the koalas, the wallabies, like like, the kookaburras, like so all the Australian, like the Australian like Australian animals, and like they want me to say like phrases, and like all I got to do is just like, hey, you want to go down to Macca's to go do the other run? Oh, I should have said, oi mate, you want to go down to the Macca's for the other run?
Oh yeah, oh
There
yeah.
you go. That's pretty much how I. That's pretty much like how I see my culture popping
Mm-hmm,
in,
mm-hmm.
because like I do admit that I do have a bit of like a Chinese ethnicity,
Okay,
but it doesn't like influence me that much as my Australian ethnicity does.
okay, okay. Um, I was going to go with I had a follow-up question, but now it is fleeted.
Mhm.
It's gone bloop 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 bloop. Oh, so
It's okay.
You've mentioned that you had originally gotten the app to practice your Japanese. And you've talked about being on the Japanese server. Um, is Japanese the only other language that you know besides English?
No, like I know how to speak English, Japanese, and a very bit of French and Mandarin.
Oh, all right, all right. Um,
Yeah.
do you stream exclusively in English or do you use your other language in stream as well?
So in my streams, I usually like stream exclusively in English, but when, for example, when I get my Japanese friends that come onto my stream, I
Mhm.
can switch to Japanese. So like,
Okay.
there's been a cases like where like I go onto like my Japanese friends' streams numerous times, and like I collab with them, and like I'm always like 99% of the time I'm speaking Japanese with them. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's a matter of like I don't just necessarily stream just in like English. Like my main language is obviously in my streams are obviously English, but if there are like people from from Japan, for example, who come into my streams, then I can switch to Japanese. And in recent times I've like found some Chinese streamers as well. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of Chinese streamers, but more like French streamers. So like
Ah,
I've like started speak a bit of French to them, and like and Chinese as well. I speak some Chinese stuff as well in my streams as well, but very limited amount because like my
mm-hmm.
Japanese is much stronger than my other two like languages.
Okay, okay. Um, how do you keep track of flipping back and forth? Because like I know I typically stick to just English because my brain like freezes and then I feel weird when I forget the word when I know the word. What do you do when your language fails? I guess is the question.
Um, I guess like it's just like pretty much like contextual stuff. It's like identifying like like who's like the most prominent, like what's like most prominent on my stream, like is it mostly English or is it mostly
Mm,
Japanese. So that's when like I know when to like revert back and continually code switch.
mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of like understanding like like the scenario that's going on in my stream, and knowing when to like switch between languages is like it's key to like allowing myself to connect with other people very like efficiently.
Mm-mm. All right. All right. We talked about that. We talked about that. I'm like going down my list to make sure like I have everything before I send you a do. We talked about that. Oh, we didn't talk about this. I know the answer because I've viewed you on other social media. But have you been a content creator on a different platform before reality? Or did you get into content creating after you started being on reality?
So before I started reality, I've had a YouTube channel where I used to post like all my covers.
Mm.
So I post all my covers on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, and it used to be under my real name. So that's the funny thing. So and that's pretty much like and the thing is as well like it coincided with when I started using reality. I started showing people like my YouTube channel under my real name, but then when my audience started growing
Mm,
and
mm.
my privacy started becoming a bit more like in question, I realized like I think it was like around that time I had to like rebrand the entire channel, and also because of the fact that like like a lot of my recordings were very poor quality and like my voice was like nowhere near as good back then. So
Mm.
so like what I did is I privatized all my old videos which had my real name on it, and I started from scratch, and I started like uploading new videos under my alias, pretty much, which is
Okay.
obviously the alias being
Okay.
RadishBear, obviously. And it's pretty much like become a staple since then, because like I've had my YouTube channel for many years,
Mm,
because I
mm.
initially created it to subscribe to Markiplier, because I subscribed to Markiplier back when he only had like 100,000 subscribers. So like this was like
Ah.
11 years ago. So like yeah, I'm like one of Markiplier's OG followers and subscribers, and like that's pretty much why I created my channel. But I didn't
Mm.
start like creating content I think like until 2016, I think, when I was still in high school.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then But then I just like I wasn't like really like into it that much, but I just like made cover videos on my YouTube channel from time to time. But
Okay.
in recent times, so like I've been becoming a bit more self-aware and conscious of it, and
Okay.
doing a bit more like like putting a bit more effort into it.
So, would you say your experience as a content creator before reality helped you? Or would you say your reality experience helps the new content that you create?
I think it's definitely the reality that helps me because before I didn't have anyone viewing my stuff. It was just basically like a personal private channel, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That I just put it out there, and then like I just hope that some people look at it. But I know that in recent times, like like since I started using reality, that's where most of my audiences come from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much like how everything started, and that's how like the channels like become a bit more recognizable, as far as I should say.
Okay. Alright. Um, are there any last words? Anything you would like to say to the people watching?
Just continue doing what you do best. Don't let anything stop you. And I I say this in the words of Stan Lee because I do like his quotes. Like Stan Lee's like once said, if you have an idea that you genuinely think is good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it.
Mm, mm,
So if you have anything that you want to do and you genuinely think that it is a really good idea and it's something that you think to yourself, hey, this could work. Don't let anyone talk you out of it. See it through. Give it a try, and then see if it does work out. And if
mm.
it works out, then be grateful that you did go through with it because you never know until you try.
I love that. That is such a great words of wisdom because you miss every shot that you don't take, right?
Mm.
So thank you so much, Radish. Thank you again for interviewing with me. I really do appreciate it. Um, but yeah,
No
thank
worries. Thank you for
you.
having me. Appreciate it.
Arigato.
Thank you.
Alright, Chinda everybody. Thank you so much for coming and watching our interview with Radish Bear. Alright, bye bye.